no high school education, this business mogul and author rose up the ranks and now co-owns one of South Africa's most visible beauty brands. This is Women and Wealth, and I'm Nozipho Mbandra. Tonight we profile Angelique du Toit. She's the co-owner of Unique Health and Beauty. We also found out how to get the ICT sector trending with more women at the top with SekelaXabiso's Khabo Ralibepa. And in our Power Redefined segment, we profile Wikimedia Foundation's Executive Director, Lila Tretikov. Globally, 56% of ICT jobs are held by women. But in South Africa, the stat is considerably lower at only 20%. This despite a high enrollment of women in ICT-related courses at tertiary institutions. Earlier, I spoke to Khabo Ralibepa, who is an Associate Director of SekelaXabiso's IT Audit Division, to find out why South Africa lags behind the global trend.
We have more women across the globe, but if you look at the ICT industry, it's still very underrepresented. Globally, you have about 56% of the professional population being represented by only 20% in the ICT industry. So that's not enough. If you look at South Africa, for instance, you know, we make up what 55% of the population. Only 20% are in ICT.
From a business perspective, there are businesses that are trying to integrate women into their ICT part of the business. For those that are in the beginning of that process, how should they be thinking about the changes they need to make to the way they are currently doing business?
I think to ignore, having women in your leadership will be to your own detriment, because, like I say, we are the majority of the population. So I think there needs to be deliberate programs and policies where companies ensure that they have women in ICT leadership and they have mentors, because the biggest thing is if you don't have a mentor, somebody who can actually hold your hand on job training and guide you in terms of what do I need to study so that I can get to where you are. So I think there needs to be mentorship programs in companies. There need to be those policies that encourage businesses to put women in ICT leadership.
But are we finding that those structures exist within companies where they can give the employer an exposure to the technical side of the work, whilst at the same time strengthening and reinforcing that with exposure to the other side of the operations of the business that fall outside of IT?
Some companies do. I have worked for a couple of companies where I found, I was able to say, look, I want to be in finance, because I need to be able to understand how finance works. And I was given that opportunity. So it differs from company to company. Some would think that, I hired you as a technical person, so that's where you're going to stay. So it depends on the various companies. In a company like SekelaXabiso, I think we are at an advantage because we get to interact with most clients. And you then, in order for me to be able to advise you on the technical matters, first of all, I need to be able to understand your business, how your business operates. So I think in our field we are much more advantaged in that regard.
Very quickly, if you could give me what value women bring into the IT space.
I think because it's seen as a male-dominated area. Once you see more women there, you will encourage even more younger women to come into play. And I think although people think IT is one of those careers that will keep you away from home, in my view it shouldn't actually, because with ICT comes mobility. And therefore, if I'm a young woman and I'm thinking I'm going to have kids, I can be able to work from home, for instance. You can do that more within the ICT space than most of the other careers. So I think the other thing that we bring in are the softer people skills that tend to not naturally be there in our men folks. Sorry, guys, but we bring that softer skills, the softer people skills, which will also encourage more women to see, okay, what, actually I can do this. I can be a woman and still be in ICT. I don't have to be a man. Right. In a woman's skin.